live on YouTube, live on the Rumble. Good afternoon. I forgot to open up my documents here. Welcome to This Day in History, aka TDH. Pardon me, I am Xander. You viewer, we will be joined by the Golden Loon here soonly. Anyway, today is, of course, Moon's Day, aka Monday, July 6, 2026. Yep. This shows about interesting and important events that happened today throughout the annals of recorded history. Starting with, let's see here, we have a 37-page document to go through today. So, after the past couple of months, we've had some pretty long ones. So this is actually not bad. Welcome to the show, Loon.
Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm doing well.
Awesome. Starting us off in the year 371 BC, the Battle of Leuctra shattered Sparta's reputation of military invincibility. Huh. Now, I wonder if this was anything, because we covered Sparta getting defeated yesterday. I don't remember what date, what battle it was or anything, or what date it was, but, what year it was. I know what date, but, yeah. Anyway, 83 BC, the Temple of Jupiter on the Capitol Hill in Rome was burnt down, and the Syllabine books of prophecy were destroyed with it. And that's the ruins of this temple. Now, some speculate that Jupiter may actually be Satan. Like there's been some comparisons and like unification about that and all that stuff. We know about Jupiter, the planet, and all that stuff. And then there's also Saturn, which is something else, which also is satanic in its own connective ways. There's a lot of things that people don't really know that are connected. But yeah, this is the temple. Just doing an image search of this. So,
oh, jeez.
This is an artist rendition. That might be AI actually. So, anyway, let's move on up here. But before we do, here's our thumbnail. I forgot to show you the thumbnail and title: the dollar, Bayonet, Constitution, Georgia Guidestones, and more. So, yeah, and there's our thumbnail for today.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah. Anyway, moving on up to 690, Maya ruler of Palanque, Kandik Khan Balaam dedicated the Temple of Inscriptions to Pakal, his recently deceased father, and the city's greatest ruler. And upon image search of this, I think this is how we know of this historical event. It might be documented in whatever the heck this is. Or maybe that's just an image of one of the two people that we just spoke about. I don't know. I'm not an archaeologist, so I don't know how to read all this stuff, but yeah. This is a Kinetic Khan Balaam. So yeah, this is the guy who dedicated the temple. So apparently that's what this guy is.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. Anyway, 1016, Battle of Pontelovoy, one of the largest battles of early medieval France, won by Fulk the Black and Herbert I of Maine against Odo II of Blois in the Loire Valley. Some of these names, man, back in the day, just so ridiculous. Sir Winston Shoehorn, the Duckbill. 1349 or 1348, a papal bull of Pope Clement VI issued during the Black Death stated Jews are not to blame and encouraged their protection. Well, that almost seems like they're trying to cover them up. I don't know. 1411, Ming China's Admiral Zheng He returned to Nanjing after the third treasure voyage and presented the Sinhalese king, captured during the Ming Cote War, to the Yongle Emperor. So apparently while they were out looking for gold, they just captured a king. As a side quest. That's kind of wild. 1415, Bohemian religious reformer Jan Hus was burnt at the stake in Constance, Germany. So he was condemned by the Assembly of the Council in the Constance Cathedral as a heretic and sentenced to be burned at the stake, in which apparently he was, according to primary source. 1438, a temporary compromise between the rebellious Transylvanian peasants and noblemen was signed in Colos Monstor Abbey. I'm going to look that up here really quick just to see if anything comes up. Transylvania Peasant Revolt. All right. So let's start our underbar section today. This link that I'm collecting right now and all the other ones that we collect throughout the show will be in the underbar in the description below. After the live stream, as per usual, we already have a lot of cool things down there, including limited to all things Omni Coalition, our sources, music in the background, and various other interesting things. Anyway, this was a popular revolt in the eastern territories of the Kingdom of Hungary in 1437. It had failed to collect. The revolt broke out after George Lepes, Bishop of Transylvania, had failed to collect the tithe tithe for years because of a temporary debasement of the coinage, but then demanded the arrears in one sum when coins of higher value were again issued. Most commoners were unable to pay the demanded sum, but the bishop did not renounce his claim and applied indirect and other ecclesiastic penalties to enforce the payment. So they basically got punished because people in charge of things did a big mistake. That's kind of bullshit. Anyway, for further reading on that, once again, this will be in the underbar description after the live stream. 1439, the reunion of the Catholic and Orthodox Church was proclaimed and celebrated with a public holiday. Okay. 1483, Richard III was crowned King of England after deposing Edward V. Wow. So, oh yeah, this is the guy, was he the guy who got decapitated? No, is this somebody else? That was some other king. In 1484, Portuguese sea captain Diogo Cao found the mouth of the Congo River. It's pretty cool. Yeah. 1491, opening ceremony of Kyoto's Daikuti Shinju at the Sub-Temple. No idea what that is, but, that sounds pretty interesting for Kyoto, that's Japan, so yeah. I'd like to learn more about Eastern history, and Mesoamerican. It's really interesting. Like I was talking in Discord the other day, and it's just like it's kind of ironic. Mesoamerica, like Inca, Aztec, Maya, like their architecture, their history, their culture is one of the most fascinating to me, personally. Okay. But it's one of my least known subjects, as far as like within historical and everything. Yeah. Like most people don't even know there were three, Aztec, Inca, Maya. And I think there were more. But anyway, moving on up to 1536, Thomas More was executed after having been condemned on perjured evidence. That sounds like it was some, false evidence just to kill him. Like, is that perjured? Like
perjured.
Like perjury. If you're perjury,
so perjured evidence sounds like
perjury.
Yeah.
Perjury is the intentional act of swearing a false oath or falsifying an affirmation to tell the truth.
Oh,
so it was fake, perjured of evidence involving willfully told untruths characterized by perjury. So somebody like literally just made it up just to have him killed.
Killed him.
That's horrifying.
Yeah.
1536 as well, the explorer Jacques Cartier landed at St. Malo at the end of his second expedition to North America. He returned with none of the gold he expected to find.
No.
That's unfortunate, but hey, he did a cool voyage. 1557, King Philip II of Spain, consort of Queen Mary I of England, set out from Dover to war with France, which eventually resulted in the loss of the city of Calais, the last English possession on the continent, and Mary I never seeing her husband again. So I wonder if he was killed or captured or something. 1557?
Yeah.
This is not even on the primary source here. 1560, England and Scotland signed the Treaty of Edinburgh. And what is this Treaty of Edinburgh? Let's take a look at this really quick here. So, first and foremost, put this in the underbar section while talking in order to fill the. I clicked the. Why can't I click the right thing? There we go. All right. Now I can read. The Treaty of Edinburgh, also known as the Treaty of Leith, was a treaty drawn up on July 5th, 1560, between the Commissioners of Queen Elizabeth I of England, with the assent of the Scottish Lords of the Congregation, and the French representatives of King Francis I of France, husband of Mary, Queen of Scots, to formally conclude the Siege of Leith and replace the Allied alliance with France with a new Anglo-Scottish accord while maintaining the peace between England and France agreed by the Treaty of Cateau-Cambrésis. Terms of the treaty, here we go. Let's see here. The French deputies were authorized to discuss withdrawal of their troops with the Archbishop of St. Andrews, yada, yada, yada. I'll let, if anybody's interested, like, we gotta keep on going
like
here.
A troop withdrawal then?
Well, it's a treaty, like,
I know that.
So I guess, like, at the end of the war, they're withdrawing their troops or something. Like, I'd like to look more into it, but we gotta keep on going. We're still in the 1500s. 1573, Cordoba, Argentina, was founded by Geronimo Luis de Cabrera, not to be confused with the Geronimo Native American guy. So this is a different Geronimo. 1573, Pacificate Balloon, King Charles IX signed edict ending the French War of Religion peace treaty with Huguenots. Now, did you, like, I can send this link to you on Discord, and you can read this after the show, because you sound genuinely interested about this, as am I, actually, honestly, so maybe I'll read this later on as well. What else we got here? 15. Possible connection. The French Wars of Religion, a siege of La Rochelle ended. So we had during the French War of Religion, or the French Wars of... Hold on, let me move this over here. Between these two, it's obviously the same thing, but this was a peace treaty. Mm-hmm. And this says ending the French War of Religion. So, is this supposed to be, above or below? Was this siege ended because of this? Are they connected? They're both French Wars of Religion.
Yeah.
So...
Same date, so yeah. It's got to be connected.
Yeah, it has to be. 1609, Majesty's brief, Emperor Rudolph II granted Bohemia freedom of religion. All right. And this is a weird word that I just tried to pronounce right there. 1614, raid on Zechun, the southeast of Malta, and the town of Zechun suffered a raid from Ottoman forces. This was the last unsuccessful attempt by the Ottomans to conquer the island of Malta.
Oh.
Well, it doesn't say, the way that's worded, it's the last unsuccessful attempt, suggesting, it's that the next attempt is going to be successful.
Well, yeah, that, or they never conquered Malta.
Yeah, I don't think they did, ultimately. But I'm just saying, the way it's written, the
weird.
wording. 1621, Dutch Governor General John Pieterszoon Kroon took Banda Islands. 15,000 died. Wow. Must have been a heck of a fight there. 1630, Swedish troops under Gustav II Adolf landed at Peenemünde during the 30 Years' War. 4,000 Swedish troops under Gustavus Adolphus landed in Pomerania, Germany. Huh.
The length of wars was incredible.
Yeah.
30-year war.
Yeah. Now, these are two different areas, 1630s. So are these two different articles? Because, this is Swedish troops under, under Gustav II Adolf. So Gustavus Adolphus, I guess that is the same guy? Would it be the same, Gustav II Adolf or Gustavus Adolphus? Gustav Adolf.
I think it's the same.
Yeah. But this says Peenemünde, and this is Pomerania, Germany. And the whole thing, 30 Years' War and all that stuff. Don't forget the 100 Years' War.
I know.
In the later part of it, Joan of Arc, at 16 years old, a girl, putting on this armor and everything, and leading French armies to victory, and one of the first times, really, where, as far as I'm aware, one of the first times in recorded history where people fought for a country, not for a king, not for a lord, not for whoever their superior was or whatever.
Right.
They're fighting for the land itself, their home, for France. You're getting, Britain out of there.
Yeah.
1652, fire on Dutch Dam, Amsterdam City Hall burns. That's very strange. Why is Amsterdam City Hall by a Dutch dam? How is the dam on fire?
I don't know.
And were they physically adjacent or something, or were they two different fires? Why would you have your city hall next to a dam? That's just weird.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Maybe a reclaimed land for them to build on.
Maybe. 1669, La Salle left Montreal to explore Ohio River. That name is familiar, La Salle. 1699, pirate captain William Kidd was captured in Boston.
Is that Captain Kidd?
Captain Kidd. Yep, pirate legend, William Kidd. 1751, Pope Benedict XIV suppressed the Patriarchate of Aquileia and established from its territory the Archdiocese of Udine and Gorizia. 1775, Congress issued the Declaration of the Causes and Necessity of Taking Up Arms, written by Thomas Jefferson and John Dickinson, and listed American grievances, but denied any intent to be independent. Okay? Now, which is kind of interesting, because 1 year after that, 1776, the American Declaration of Independence, announced on front page of Pennsylvania Evening Gazette. And I actually have an image of this. Right there. There it is, right there. In Congress, July 4, 1776, a declaration by the representatives of the United States of America and General Congress assembled. Or I guess, it says assembled. I guess that's supposed to be assembled, but assembled. So, anyway, this just shows, we weren't messing around. We see,
we listed all the grievances, and obviously,
and then 1 year later, we announced our Declaration of Independence.
We start grievance. They didn't recognize them or do anything or
Yep.
whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, then we got to be independent.
Yeah. 1777, British General Burgoyne captured Fort Ticonderoga from the Americans. So during the American Revolutionary War, the siege of Fort Ticonderoga, after a bombardment by British artillery under General John Bourguignon, Canadian forces, well, they weren't Canadian yet, American forces, they're retreated from Fort Ticonderoga, New York. 1779, Battle of Grenada. The French defeated British naval forces in the Caribbean during the American Revolutionary War. I think that's supposed to be the Caribbean. So
Probably.
not the Caribbean. 1785, U.S. Congress unanimously resolved the name of the U.S. currency the dollar and adopted decimal coinage. All right. So here we have the invention of the U.S. dollar. You know, and I guess later on Canada took that name and everything. So the dollar was adopted as a monetary unit of the United States. The adoption of the dollar began in 1782, as opposed to what we just covered here in 1785. With Thomas Jefferson suggested the U.S. adopt the dollar because the thaler was already circulating in many areas in the Spanish and British colonies of North America. At that time, private banknote companies printed a variety of notes. Now, earlier today, you know, we went to the gym, and I actually, let's see if I can find it in my history. While I was on the horrible machine, I was...
horrible. I call it the horrible machine.
I was watching, was it the folklore here? Yeah, it was the folklore. This folklore video. At one point, it goes about the actual currency. Does it? Yeah, here it is. So like right around here, you know, it shows colonial money and everything. So while we were in our revolutionary period, this is what our money looked like, and this part of the video was talking about how the British actually they came over with with machines because they were a huge empire. They not only made a bunch of counterfeits to our money, but because they were so good at doing things, because they're an empire and they have all this stuff, their counterfeits were actually of higher quality than our stuff.
Sounds right.
Yeah. So, but it caused a serious problem. So I'm gonna throw.
Yeah, of course.
I'm gonna throw this this video into the underbar as well. Let's see here. Statian facts, or what was this called? Folklore. There, I'll just throw that in there as well. So, yeah, but I'm going to send this to you as well, because this is actually interesting too. It talks about the turtle, which is the first submarine. It wasn't really successful. It was basically a keg that you put yourself in, and it was designed to drill a little hole into the hull of a ship, and then pull back, and it had another keg that it was the bomb and left it behind. And it's a whole thing. It's a cool video. You can see it right there, the turtle submarine. So it's a very small thing. Anyway, what else do we got here? 1787, French government proclaimed the end of the stamp/land tax. I'm gonna look that up here really quick. It's States General of 1789. Well, that's not 1787. Anyway, 1787 as well. Orange troops occupied area at Duurstede. Are these Trump's people or something? Orange troops? I guess it's from the Orange Free State, which became South Africa.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know what the Orange troops are. I have no idea.
There were Orange, the Orange Republic or the Orange something. The Orange Free State. I know about that. I'm going to look that up here. Orange Free States. Is Afrikaans. Yeah, it was South Africa.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a landlocked independent Boer republic in southern Africa during the second half of the 19th century.
Good pull.
Yeah. 1789, during the French Revolution, the National Assembly formed a committee of 30 members to write a new constitution. In 1791, at Padua, the Emperor Leopold II called on the monarchs of Europe to join him in demanding the King of France, Louis XVI's freedom. We want his freedom. 1798, the U.S. made a U.S. law made aliens, quote, liable to be apprehended, restrained, and removed as alien enemies, end quote. So, basically, border control and all that stuff. I'm all for this. We gotta make sure, domestic is good, because, we wanna, see, what blows my mind about a certain political, side is that I understand the want to, provide. I understand, wanting to make the world better and all that stuff. But, like, if you're going to allow, like, this country to go to shit, then how do you expect to be good providers?
Right.
On the surface level, if you actually think about it, now I know their true motives. They don't want to provide at all. They just use that to get their power and everything. But if you actually think about it, even if you're too ignorant to really know like the true reason why these politicians do this shit, if you thought about it for half a second, like they don't actually do what they say. So why should I follow them? Like, anyway. 1801 battle at Algeciras. French fleet defeated the British, and an outnumbered French Navy ships defeated the Royal Navy in the fortified Spanish port of Algeciras. 8 years later, 1809, we have the Battle of Wagram. After a 2-day battle, Napoleon's French and Allied army decisively defeated the Austrian army under Archduke Charles, leading to the breakup of the Austrian and British-led Fifth Coalition against France. Wow, that was the fifth coalition. 1853, National Black Convention met in Rochester, New York. Ex-slave Frederick Douglass attended.
Oh,
nice.
Okay.
We also have William Wells Brown published Clotho, the first novel by a black Stadian. All right. 1854, first Republican State Convention was held in Jackson, Michigan. So the Republican Party of the United States held its first convention in Jackson, Michigan. 1858, Lyman Blake patented a shoe manufacturing machine, and this specifically is a sewing machine for shoe soles. You can actually see, like if you take a shoe, put it upside down, you can put it like right here.
Oh, okay.
You can see,
yeah.
The ankle would be up here and everything, and then you can turn it around on a pivot, and then you sew the soles on the bottom of the shoe. But I'm going to image search this as well to see if there's a bigger machine. Yeah, here, like it shows. Like I don't really understand what I'm looking at, but I know it is what I'm talking about. It says a shoe sewing machine. So and here we have it in 3 dimensions. Okay, that's cool if it does what it does. Awesome. 1863, Northern Territory passed from New South Wales to South Australia. Okay, how is it Northern Territory in South Australia?
Well, good question.
I guess north-south? In an east-west. 1882, 14 Russian Jews from Bliu arrived in Jaffa, Palestine. That makes me wonder, like, did they live? Because, like, as you've told me and everything, and as I know and all that stuff, Israel, like, they don't only have Jews, they have Christians, they have Islamists, Muslims, and all that stuff living there. But we say that as if it's something extraordinary, which it is when you look at Muslim nations and everything. But you see an article like this in 1882, 14 Russian Jews arrived in Jaffa, Palestine. If they lived, and they weren't really harassed and everything, then Israel isn't really doing anything special in this sense,
Well, yeah.
But
that's 14. And if
it's not, but doesn't matter. If it's 14 or 1400
to live there, yeah.
If the Islamists hate the Jews to the amount that we believe, then they would kill them. Doesn't matter, So apparently,
it doesn't say if they lived or not.
I know, that's why I'm asking if they lived.
Yeah.
And if they did, then that really, that really adds a lot. 1885, Louis Pasteur successfully gave an anti-rabies vaccine to a 9-year-old Joseph Meister, saving his life after he was bitten by a rabid dog.
Oh man.
Yeah. We also have William T. Steed's The Maiden Tribute in Modern Babylon, first published, described how he was able to buy a 13-year-old girl in the Pall Mall Gazette. Wow. Wow. Holy shit. Magazine shopping, human trafficking.
Wow.
Buy a little girl from the magazine. That's
on sale today.
Horrifying. Wow. 1886, Horlicks of Wisconsin offered first malted milk to public. All right.
Oh, malted.
Yeah. Wasn't the malted milk ball, but it was just a malted milk.
Right.
Right. Like a milkshake. Type of thing.
Well, malt. There's a malt and a milkshake is the
ice
malt.
Cream. Yeah.
They both have ice
What's
cream.
malt?
Malt is what they're is what it. I don't know what it's made up of.
What is malts? Malts. Is any cereal grain that has been made to germinate by soaking in water and then stopped from germinating further by drying it with hot air, a process known as malting. That sounds like, for beer.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it says barley. So, it makes me wonder, like how do malts and milkshakes get made? But we gotta keep on going here. Like, if anybody's watching, like, let us know in the comment section, like, how malt, what is the malt in the malt and milkshake, how it's made,
All I know is the powder.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
1885, William T. Steads, we got that one. We got that one as well. 1887, David Kalakaua, monarch of the Kingdom of Hawaii, was forced to sign the Bayonet Constitution, which transferred much of the king's authority to the legislature of the Kingdom of Hawaii. Now, if I remember my history right, this constitution is called the Bayonet Constitution because they literally held him at a bayonet just to make him to sign it. Yeah. It was a legal document prepared by anti-monarchists to strip the absolute Hawaiian monarchy of much of its authority, initiating a transfer of power to a coalition of American, European, and Native Hawaiian people. It became known as the Bayonet Constitution for the rising by the armed militia which forced King Kalakaua to sign it or be deposed. And what's I'm not sure if it's said somewhere in here, so I'm going to add this in the underbar section as well. Bayonet. Well, there is no double T. Bayonet Constitution. But a lot of these, like what it said, the anti-monarchists and everything, that was all people that were basically brainwashed by the very forces here, U.S., European, and all that stuff, brainwashing them to make them more on the side of the United States, to persuade the people over a few generations, because it wasn't like
Right.
one and done thing. This is 1887, and it wasn't until after you were born before Hawaii even became a state. So it took a
Right.
long time, but this was one of the steps of Stadian annexation of the Kingdom of Hawaii by convincing the people to threaten and oppose their own king, unknowingly putting themselves in the lap of an even worse oppressor, I would say.
Well, I think go
They're
too
not
far
free.
there.
They're not free. They got eaten. So
They weren't treated nicely, let's say that.
no, they were not. 1892, Davavadi Naroji elected as first Indian member of Parliament in Britain. That's cool. 1892 as well, striking steelworkers in Homestead, Pennsylvania, fired on scabs, killing 7.
Oh,
now,
man.
people don't realize scabs are people who are hired to work in the place of the people who are striking and all that stuff. And those people are despised. And in a lot of cases,
union workers,
well, not just union workers, but in a lot of cases, people with any like morals and all that stuff. Because if these people are striking, for like better wages because they deserve it, and then the companies are just saying screw you, and then hiring these scabs. Well, these scabs, they're giving a middle finger themselves to the strikers if what they're striking for is legitimate.
People that are hungry and need a job, and they're offered the job, you're not going to take it? You won't put food on the table.
Does people striking need to put food on the table?
Yeah, but they're striking. So
Yeah,
I'm
because
not, scabs, I'm not going to...
They're striking to get better, whatever it is, and I'm going in and undermining their efforts, Like,
But
that's why I
the
said if it's a
scab-
legitimate thing, I
The
don't like
scab has
undermining.
no job. He has no job. When this is settled, he has no job. So he's offered a temporary job or whatever, and you're hungry.
If it's settled, if it's not settled, the strikers lose their job, and then now you have a permanent job. And then you basically just undermine somebody's entire life. I don't like that.
Well,
We're all in this world
when you
together.
strike, you're doing it voluntarily.
Yes.
So you got to accept the consequences. If it's successful, you get the raise. If it's unsuccessful, you're going to lose your job. And they believed that they needed money so bad that it was worth the risk.
Well,
I have no qualms about striking, but you got to realize
it's worth
what
the
it
risk
is.
of getting shot and dying.
No, that's not. Well, that's just bad.
Because
Anyway.
this article we just killed 7 scabs.
Yeah.
Is undermining somebody else's life worth risking and losing your own? No. How about we all be good, moral, citizens of this planet and help each other out? How about that? Like,
Well, who's going to feed the scab? He has no job.
He
Who's
can
gonna help
he can
him
find
out?
a job somewhere
He
else.
can? Are you sure about that?
I don't know. If he can't, then clearly the problems are far worse, and there's going to be a huge economic collapse in the area if there's no other jobs. You know, that's a much bigger problem, right there. But yeah, other source says 3,800 striking steelworkers engaged in a day-long battle with Pinkerton agents during the Homestead strike, leaving 10 dead and dozens wounded. And
I remember
Pinkerton
that
was
with
government.
Pinkerton, yeah.
Pinkerton is
No, I
government.
think it was a private hired
Oh
by
yeah,
the companies.
yeah. They're not. They work for the government, but they're a private enterprise. You are correct. Like I think the Pinkertons, were the government agents in the in the Red Dead Redemption series and everything. 1893, the small town of Pomeroy, Iowa, was nearly destroyed by a tornado that killed 71 people and injured 200. 1894, Cleveland sent 2,000 troops to Chicago to suppress a Pullman strike. So here we go, another strike and all that stuff. 1898, U.S. Senate agreed to annex Hawaii. So there you go. 1903, George Wyman arrived in New York City by motorcycle 51 days out of San Francisco. And we're going to be talking, there's a lot of these, L.A. to San Francisco, or L.A. to New York, San Francisco to New York, things.
Yeah.
We've already covered, a good half dozen or so of articles like that. People walking, people running, people taking the train, taking the car.
Yeah.
That one guy who walked around the border of the U.S., remember that?
Oh, God, yeah.
So...
That's crazy.
We have another one later on today about someone walking from L.A. to New York. This is a guy motorcycling from... San Francisco to New York.
Yeah.
904, the U.S. Democratic Party nominated a little-known New York judge Alton B. Parker for presidential nominee, virtually assuring the election of Theodore Roosevelt. We also have 2 Russian cruisers moved into the Red Sea and began to stop ships of Britain, Germany, and other nations they believe friendly to Japan. Okay. 907.
1904?
Yep. 904.
Okay.
Yep. Russian cruisers. Yep. 907, Tom Ricci took 5 weeks to compile the highest recorded billiards break in a match, 199,135 in London. His cradle cannon method was soon banned. So apparently he broke
what that all means.
499,135 balls at once, which I don't know how you can do that. That would be acres. You can't break that.
5 weeks to complete.
Oh, to compile the highest recorded billiards break in a match.
Huh. I don't know what that means.
I don't know.
I'm at a loss.
I am too. I'm gonna surface a little scratch this article here. It just tells me about the guy, Tom Rees. So, all right. Anyway, 908, Stadian explorer Robert Peary set out on his eighth Arctic expedition, sailing from New York City for the North Pole. 1912, the 5th Summer Modern Olympics Games officially opened in Stockholm, Sweden. Events concluded prior to the ceremony dating back to 5th of May. It's telling me images to this, just to probably see what, photos of the event. Look at that, that's pretty cool. Colorized. That's awesome. 1916, the second of 4 fatal Jersey Shore shark attacks occurred at Spring Lake when Charles Brunder, at the age of 27, bled to death 5 days after the first. Yeah, sharks are vicious animals. They will kill you. 1917, T. Lawrence of Arabia, captured the port of Aqaba from the Turks during World War I. The Arabian troops led by, T. Lawrence and Auda Ibn Tayya captured Aqaba from the Ottoman Empire during the Arab revolts. So kind of funny how primary source doesn't mention the Arab guy, leading. So, our source being leftist, they always say that they love the brown people, but they really don't. 1918, the left ST uprising in Russia started with the assassination of German ambassador Wilhelm von Mirbach by Cheka members. 1919, a British R-34 landed in New York, the first airship to cross the Atlantic in 108 hours. So the British dirigible, the R-34, landed in New York, completing the first crossing of the Atlantic Ocean by airship.
That's
Dude,
pretty awesome.
Yeah, that is. Can you imagine being the first passengers and being over the ocean for all that time and not knowing if you're gonna crash or what? Because I don't think you had lifeboats.
Well, it's never been done before. You don't know if you're going to make it or not.
Yeah. I mean, as I said, like, I'm not sure if you had lifeboats. Like,
Yeah.
all that inflation stuff, I'm not sure was around by 1919. You probably had life jackets. But, like, I mean, the thought of, like, falling in the... You're not going to, like, fall like in an airplane.
Right.
But, like, you know, you got to get out. Otherwise, you're going to get, you know, enveloped, you know, and all that stuff that's collapsing and, you know, forming around you. That's scary to think about, you know. 1919, Institute for Sexual Science opened in Berlin by physician Magnus Hirschfeld to establish the study of sexual science. He's just a pervert. Oh, of course. Physician and homosexual rights advocate. Oh, now I understand. You know, camel's nose. This is how the
Sexual
homosexual
science.
agenda started.
Good
So,
grief.
yeah.
Sexual science. What a crock.
Yeah, no, this guy's just a pervert. 1920, the New York Yankees scored MLB record 14 runs in fifth inning of a 17-0 rout from Washington Senators. Ouch. 22, Dutch auto airplane manufacturer Trompenberg declared bankruptcy. So, like, it was an automobile and an airplane thing. They were doing two things. Obviously, too much. So, 23, rail crash on the New Zealand's main trunk line. 17 were killed and 28 injured. I don't know why that's marked. Just a rail crash on the main trunk line, I guess. Like, 23, the Central Executive Committee accepted the Treaty of Union signed in Moscow in December of 1922, last year, or the year prior to this. And the Russian Empire became the Union of Soviet Socialist Republics, the USSR. The Soviet Union is now officially born. That is a dark day for the world. Oh,
Yeah.
Frickin' Trotsky right there. That's Lenin right there, right? It looks like
I
Lenin.
believe it is.
Yeah.
Oh, you're
But
right.
is that Trotsky or is that Trotsky? They look like the same. They both have... Huh.
The only one I can recognize is Lenin.
Who the hell is... Look at this guy looking into the camera. Like, who is that guy? Is that Satan? Like, do you see that? He's looking into... He's looking at us through time. Like, who is that?
They're
That's...
still coming.
Yeah, well, they're still here.
Yeah.
24, first photo was sent experimentally across the Atlantic by radio from the U.S. to England. Now, I looked this up, but I couldn't find an image of the image that they sent. It just showed me, unless, like, this is the image that they sent of the guy sitting in front of all this equipment. It was just talking to me about radio. So, like, you know, this is...
So how do they send a picture through radio?
Well, everything's waves.
Yeah.
Like, think about television and Wi-Fi and all that
Yeah.
stuff. Like, right now, how are we broadcasting our room through wireless? It's radio waves.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just audio. Like, it's visual, it's color, it's all sorts of things. You know, like as technology advances and all that stuff, and we learn more of it, we figure out how to use it and all that stuff. And considering that, like, radio is only like 100 some odd years old. You know,
Yeah.
it's wild. Just you know, the amount of technology the past century has unveiled. 1928, the first all-talking motion picture showed in New York, Lights of New York. Wow, that's awesome. We also have the largest recorded hailstone at the time, weighing 1.5 pounds and measuring 7 inches in diameter, fell in Potter, Nebraska. That's not good. 29, St. Louis Cardinals set MLB run record with 28 runs on 28 hits, 28-6 versus Phillies. Well, that's a 1-to-1 right there, 28 runs on 28 hits. 1930, Fred Newton, 27, commenced attempt to swim entire length of the Mississippi River from Fort Dam, Minnesota to New Orleans, Louisiana. He covered 1,826 miles over 176 days, almost twice the 90 days he estimated. So he swam the entire thing.
Wow.
What a legend, dude. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I wonder if anybody's done it since, and if they've beaten that record. That's something for David Rush to try. Beat the record swimming down the Mississippi.
Yeah.
1932, Cubs future All-Star shortstop Billy Jurgis was shot twice in Chicago hotel room by his spurned girlfriend, Violet Popovich Valley. No charges were laid. Wow, really? Wow.
The trick would be someone swim up the Mississippi.
Yes.
That would be the trick.
That would be the trick. 32 as well. First class postage increased to 3 cents from 2 cents. Okay, went up a penny. 33.
That's 50%.
Yeah. Nursery Rhymes short film starring Ted Healy and his Stooges premiered. One of the first film appearances of the Three Stooges.
Ah.
Yeah. Now, I want to use what you just said. That's 50%.
Yeah.
So, this is how numbers fool people.
Yeah.
Like it's like, oh, blah, blah. It raised by 3,000%. It's like 5 cents.
Yeah.
Like, it's a nickel. Like, whoa, so you're trying to make it all, but people, like, be aware out there. Like,
Still a 50% increase. That's huge.
Yeah, but it's still a penny. That's not huge,
Well, in
That's
1932 it probably was.
Well, what I'm saying is
Yes,
be
I know what
aware
you're saying.
of manipulation. So.
Yeah.
33, the first Major League Baseball All-Star game was played in Chicago's Comiskey Park. The American League defeated the National League 4-2. We have Wimbledon, also no longer on neither. I'm starting to think that these were deleted. Because, we had a couple, especially yesterday, some really good examples that they were deleted. 34, American doubles specialist Elizabeth Ryan won her 12th Wimbledon doubles title as she and Simon Matthew of France defended their crown 6-3, 6-3 versus Dorothy Andrews and Sylvie Henrotten. 35, Dutch architect Adrian van der Stier's Museum Bojamus van Benunion opened in Rotterdam. And that's it. That's part of it right there. Like, that's an awesome looking structure. But what's even more awesome is they have a modern thing over here too, so it's expanded. Geez. Yeah, look at that. That kind of reminds me of that one thing, the building we went on top on, and then all of a sudden I got incredibly scared of heights.
Oh yeah.
So, but look at this aerial view of the whole grounds. If it's going to load. Well, while it's loading, I'm going to continue on up here. 1936. We have 114 degrees Fahrenheit in Moorhead, Minnesota. It's a state record, 46 Celsius.
That's hot.
Yeah, we also have in Steele, North Dakota, another state record of 121 Fahrenheit, or 49 Celsius. But yeah, look at this. And you can't really tell, but this is that big-ass building that was there.
Oh, okay.
You can see the reflection around here.
Yeah.
But look at what a beautiful area. I would love to go visit that. Like, it almost, like, the whole roof here looks like it's all open in glass. Like, it almost looks like Venice with this tower, like, the famous, bell tower in Venice and all that stuff. So, I'd love to go visit this. And this was in Amsterdam, right? Or Rotterdam, yeah. We gotta go there someday. 36, a major breach of the Manchester, Bolton, and Bury Canal in England sent millions of gallons of water as cascading 200 feet or 61 meters into the River Irwell. Yikes. 39, German Nazis closed last Jewish enterprises. Anti-Jewish legislation in pre-war Nazi Germany closed the last remaining Jewish enterprises. So that's why I'm saying, I know what it's like to feel like a Jew in 1930s, Germany, as a straight, white, conservative, affiliated, unvaccinated, Christian-adjacent male in California. Oh, everybody wants a piece of my ass, 1940, Story Bridge, a major landmark in Brisbane, as well as Australia's longest cantilever bridge, was formally opened. Pretty cool. Again, I actually do have an image of that. It's not that one. We'll get to that one. But yeah, there's no really good images of it. It's a bridge. Okay, cool. Yeah. Like, with bridge
cantilever is the key word there.
Yeah. Mom's time! 41, New York Yankees team unveiled a monument to former captain Lou Gehrig in center field at Yankee Stadium. Their future Hall of Famer died the previous month. That's a shame.
Yeah.
41 as well, during World War II, the German army launched its offensive to encircle several Soviet armies near Smolensk. 42, Anne Frank's family went into hiding in Afterhouse, Amsterdam. So Anne Frank and her family went into hiding in the secret annex above her father's office in an Amsterdam warehouse. So, unfortunately, they were caught, and she did not survive the Holocaust, but her book did, which has now become a freaking Mandela effect. Like, we all know it as a diary of Anne Frank.
Yeah.
But now it's a diary of a little girl. Yeah. Like, we covered this a while ago. So, 42, World War II, German commander von Hoff's 4th Panzer Army captured the western part of Russian city of Voronezh. Okay. 43, second day of Battle of Kursk. USSR, Operation Citadel, 25,000 Germans were killed in today. One day.
Yeah.
We also have U.S. destroyer William D. Porter, the Willie D. launched. I've heard about the Willie D. It's just in the back of my head for some reason. So, 43 as well. 44. Now this one's interesting. French General Charles de Gaulle arrived in Washington D.C. Okay. Normally I don't cover that, because it's just like, okay, whatever. But at the same time, 44. So the same day, U.S. General George S. Patton landed in France.
Huh.
We switched. You know, they're both generals. You know, they're both badasses. You know,
Except he's been out of France.
Well, they have their individual stories. Yes,
Yeah.
I just said,
Yeah,
you know,
I know.
we're swapping. You know, I just found it interesting. 44 as well. World's largest circuit tent caught fire at Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus in Hartford, Connecticut, killing at least 167 people and injuring 700 in one of the worst fire disasters in U.S. history. And that's what this is. See that ring?
Oh,
That was a tent.
Oh man.
Yeah, you can just see the scale of that disaster. You know, it's like over 700 injured. You know, like the silver line, every black cloud. It could have been worse. You know, I mean, it would have been nice if it hadn't happened, but it could have been worse. 44 as well. Now this one pisses me off. Jackie Robinson refused to move to the back of a bus, leading to his court-martial. What the fuck, dude? It's Jackie Robinson. Leave him alone. What the hell? Like, I mean, we shouldn't be doing that to any black guy or anybody, no matter what. We're all humans. But I mean, court-martial? Was he in the military? Jackie Robinson? He was
Baseball player.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I guess he might have been serving.
44?
Yeah.
Well, would have been during the war.
Yeah, and a lot of...
I have no idea. Is that the same Jackie Robinson? I don't know.
I don't know. And this is not even on primary source, so... 45, Abbott and Costello's film The Naughty 90s was released, featured the longest version of their Who's on First routine.
Oh.
We also have Nicaragua became the first nation to ratify the United Nations Charter. You were chomping at the bit for that. U.S. President Harry Truman signed executive order establishing Medal of Freedom. Okay. We also have Washington Senator Rick Farrell caught a record 1,722 games. Yikes, that's a lot. Lose time, except it's 1 year later. 1947, Spain voted for Francisco Franco as the head of state for life until death, which, yeah, he was, unfortunately. And then, but thankfully, though, they moved his body somewhere else. He did not deserve to be at the position of honor wherever it was that he initially was buried, you know, because he was a Spanish dictator. Like he worked with the Nazis. So, 47 as well. The AK-47 went into production in the Soviet Union. You know, good old Kalashnikov. We also have a referendum held in Salit to decide the fate of its fate in the partition of India. So Shilalhit, wherever the heck that is, you know, was going to get either stay part of India or become part of Pakistan or be split. I don't know. 49. Cincinnati Reds catcher Walker Cooper went 6 for 7, 3 home runs, 3 singles, 5 runs recorded, 10 RBI, and a 23-4 win versus the Chicago Cubs. They got annihilated. 49 as well. Freak heat wave sent central coast of Portugal to 158 degrees Fahrenheit for 2 minutes. I know. When I first saw that, I was like, wow. It's for only 2 minutes. But what is happening? Did the atmosphere, like, you know, turn off? How does it get that hot? Like, you know, that quick?
I don't know.
Like, that's crazy.
Something is crazy.
Freak heat wave. So, 1950, German Democratic Republic recognized Order Nisi borders with Poland. Okay. 52, last train ride in London. 56, Cleveland outfielder Jim Busby hit a second grand slam on consecutive days during Indians' 4-2 win versus Kansas City A's. 57, Harry S. Truman Presidential Library Museum was dedicated in Independence City, or it was dedicated in Independence, Missouri. Now I looked this up and it is so boring.
Boy, is it ever.
Like, wow. I mean, even the sign is boring. Like, everything about this, you have a few plants and everything, but I mean, dude, like, now that's better. Harry S. Truman Library Museum. I guess that might be the sign, but this is just god awful.
Yeah.
This is horrible. I mean, even the sign is it's like toast. It's like a toast family, you know. 57, John Lennon at the age of 16 and Paul McCartney at the age of 15 met for the first time as Lennon's rock group, the Quarrymen, performed at St. Peter's Woolworth Parish Church in Liverpool. Mutual friend Ivan Vaughn introduced them. Wow. 3 years before forming the Beatles.
Yeah.
Nice. 57, Alpha Gibson won the Wimbledon Championships, becoming the first black athlete to do so. Now, timeouts. Didn't we talk about Arthur Ashe being the first black guy winning Wimbledon. Yesterday.
Was it Wimbledon he won the first?
I think so.
Like, was that the?
Like, hold on a second. I'm gonna open up my.
That was the New York one.
Well, hold on a second. August. No, we're not in August. We're in July. Yesterday was the 5th. Okay, so let's get out the articles here. Ashe. Let's search up Arthur Ashe. Hold on a second. Arthur. There we go. Yeah, here we go. Wimbledon, men's tennis, 75. Arthur Ashe became first black U.S. citizen to win Wimbledon. And I'm in 57. So clearly she... So
first man, that's a woman.
Oh.
Is that right?
Well, yeah. Is Alpha Gibson a woman, though?
I don't know.
It said just the first black athlete. So...
But probably a woman.
This predates it.
Yeah, by 20 years.
Yeah,
18 or whatever it is.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, 59, Saar became part of German Federal Republic, so it's a section in Saar, whatever. 1960, Dr. Barbara Moore completed a 3,207-mile walk from LA to New York City. You know, what did I say?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Making sure that the music isn't too loud. Nope, doesn't seem to be. Hopefully it's not. So. Looking around for comments, no comments. Moving on up. 1961, Portuguese ship exploded near Mozambique, killing 300 people. Yikes. Removed from primary source, so I don't know where it went. It exploded. I guess it deleted itself from the pages of history. 62, New York Yankees M&M boys, Roger Maris and Mickey Mantle hit 2 home runs each in a 7-5 win versus Twins. Mantle hit 4th consecutive homer. 1962, The Late Late Show, the world's longest running chat show by the same broadcaster, aired on RTE1 for the first time. 63, South African Workers' Union leader Billy Nair, at the age of 33, was arrested and charged with sabotage and attempting to overthrow the government. 1 year later, Malawi, formerly Nyasaland, declared its independence from the United Kingdom. We have the Beatles film A Hard Day's Night premiered at the Pavilion in London. 65, psychedelic rock band Jefferson Airplane formed in San Francisco, California. 365 more days later, here we go, Malawi again, becoming a republic. Dr. Hastings Kamuzu Banda becoming its first president. 67, Nigerian civil war erupted as Nigerian forces invaded the secessionist state of Biafra. So, 68, Satchera published Manifest of 10,000 Words. We covered that yesterday. 69, Ned Kelly, starring Mick Jagger, began filming in and around Braidwood, New South Wales, Australia. About neither have I. So about Ned Kelly and starring Mick Jagger. That's an interesting combination. 1970, California passed the first no-fault divorce law in the United States. That's really stupid because now it's just very easy. Like it's taking responsibility away from people. Like, this is getting married is supposed to be a major decision, not something that you can just fly by night and decide that oh, never mind the next day. No, you made a commitment, stick with it. You made a bad move, suck it up, buttercup, deal with it. But to have easy outs for everything, what's the point in life if nothing matters? We gotta make shit matter. 71, Doctor, we got that one. No, we didn't. Dr. Hastings Kamuzu Banda sworn in as president for life in Malawi. So we covered Malawi earlier. He was so I guess they just made him as dictator. So 71, White House plumbers unit formed to plug new leaks. Kind of reminds me of the whole plumbers thing from Ben 10. So
what?
Ben 10. It's a cartoon show. This kid, he gets this Omnitrix device he can turn into animals through DNA manipulation. And his grandfather was part of this massive secret underground organization that dealt with aliens and alien technology called the Plumbers and everything. So that makes me think what their name in Ben 10 inspired by this, the White House Plumbers Unit, formed to plug news leaks. Pretty funny. I think called themselves.
Wasn't that Nixon that won the plumbers?
71?
Nixon's, yeah. I think.
I don't know. 71 sound right, Nixon?
I'm not sure.
I don't know. Who was president in 71?
I think it was Nixon. He was after Kennedy.
Let's see here. I see 19. 1968 to 72 was Nixon. You got it. Yep. Absolutely. Although,
The
that's
Plumbers had
vice
something
president.
to do within breaking
Watergate.
into Watergate,
Yeah. Oh.
which was later.
75, Argentine government fell. Okay. 75 as well. Art Wall Jr. at 51 years, 7 months, and 10 days became the second oldest to win PGA Tour event, defeating Gary McCord by 1 at the Greater Milwaukee Open. The oldest is Sam Snead.
Oh.
Yeah. Comoros declared independence from France. Most of them. It sounds like islands. The Comoros Islands. It says the Comoros declared independence from France. If with that, this is 75 here. Most of them. That sounds like they're islands. So.
I don't know.
Oh, here we go. Shostakovich's final sonata. 75. Dmitri Shostakovich completed Sonate for Alto, Opus 147. For 78, a sleeping car caught fire in Taunton, Somerset, killing 12 people. Sad. Israeli jet fighters swoop over predominantly Muslim West Beirut. That's just, a show of force, trying to intimidate them. 1980, MLB Philadelphia Phillies starter Steve Carlton fanned 6 Cardinals to reach 2,836 strikeouts, the most by a left-handed pitcher in MLB history. Hell yeah. 1982, while attempting to return to Sheremetyevo International Airport, Aeroflot Flight 411 and the Lucian Il-62 crashed near Mendeleevo, Moscow Oblast, killing all 90 on board. That is unfortunate. 1983, Supreme Court ruled retirement plans can't pay women less. Good. They shouldn't.
Oh.
Yeah, retirement plans cannot pay women less.
The men.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, then who? Dolphins? Like, who else do retirement plans pay? 1984, New Zealand sisters Liz and Rose Sindel became the first twins to play in the same cricket test match versus England at Headingley. That's pretty cool. 86, Atlanta infielder Bob Horner became the 11th player to hit 4 home runs in an MLB game during Braves' 11-8 loss to Montreal Expos. Ayo's time, 87, first of 3 massacres by Sikh extremists took place in India. That's a horrible way to start my time. But, hey, like, Mom's the one who's been really getting, kicked around. She's like right at the beginning of World War II. Poor lady. 87, USSR performed nuclear tests. We also have Pakistan cricket all-rounder Imran Khan reached 300 test wicket milestone during 3rd test versus England at Leeds. This is no longer on either source as well, so it got deleted. 88, Piper Alpha oil drilling platform explosion killed 167 people in the North Sea at about 190 kilometers, or 120 miles northeast of Aberdeen in Scotland. The rig was operated by Occidental Petroleum, Catalonia Limited, exploding. 167 died. They said that twice, 1988. They mentioned how many deaths twice. That's weird. Right here,
Yeah.
and right here. It's odd. But there's an image of it right there on fire. Very low quality because 1988. But let's see. We have other images. This is like the aftermath. But like,
I wonder if that was for that movie. Remember that movie where they had the big fire and explosion on the...
No. That was the one in the Gulf of America.
Yeah. That's right.
No, that was Deepwater Horizon.
Yeah.
Not Piper Alpha. No. 1989, ex-Phillies third baseman Mike Schmidt became the first retired MLB player to be named to start the All-Star game. He elected not to play. U.S. Marshals and FCC, the Federal Communications Commission, seized pirate radio station WHOT in Brooklyn. 1989 as well, the Tel Aviv-Jerusalem bus 405 suicide attack. 16 bus passengers were killed when a member of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad took control of the bus and drove it off a cliff. Yikes. 1990, Jetsons the movie by Hanna-Barbera and with Tiffany Darwish premiered. 92, MLB Commissioner Faye Vincent institutes plans to realign the National League. 93, John F. Kennedy Jr. gave notice of quitting as ADA in Manhattan. ADA? Like, oh, it says Assistant District Attorney. Oh, okay. So, one second. Let me add that in here really quick. Copy, and then parenthesis. All right, perfect. What else we got here? 94, Forrest Gump, directed by Robert Zemeckis and starring Tom Hanks, Robin White, and Gary Sinise, was released. Academy Awards Best Picture of 95. I don't like Forrest Gump. Like, it's an interesting movie, but at the same time, like, it almost seems like a psyop to take things away from Black history. Because, like, there is a scene where, like, he taught Elvis how to do the pelvic thrust thing.
Oh, yeah.
Well, Elvis learned that from, like, a bunch of, blacks dancing or whatever, like, their culture and all that stuff. So that movie took that away. Like, and then there's various other examples that don't come off the top of my head. But, I mean, like, he worshipped the ground Jenny walked on, and she treated him like garbage, And then, went and got cancer and died and left him with a kid. What the hell? What a bitch. The Forrest Gump is a terrible movie when you really dissect it. 94, 21.1 inches or 51.6 centimeters rainfall at Americus, Georgia, state record. 94 as well, CFL American expansion the Shreveport Pirates lost a game 40-10 at the Ottawa Rough Riders, at that team. They folded in 95, so they didn't last long. 40-10, like that, they suck. 95, Venezuelan Congress approved the country's first investment law allowing for foreign participation in oil exploration and production. Yeah, aren't they, like, so incredibly resource wealthy? Venezuela?
They have a lot of oil down there.
Yeah. What are they doing?
Well, right now they're shipping it up to us into the Gulf, and we're refining and doing a whole
Oh,
thing.
so they are actually pumping.
Oh, big time, yeah.
I heard that they weren't a while ago, at least.
We went in and took Noriega.
Oh, that's right.
And no, we're working with them hand in hand, and it's worked out well.
Good. What else do we got here? 1996, in a 2-0 win versus the Brewers, New York Yankees closer John Wetland set MLB record, or Wetland set MLB record 20 consecutive saves en route to 24. Nice. 96, and McDonnell Douglas MD-88 operating as Delta Airlines Flight 1288 experienced a turbine engine failure during takeoff from Pensacola International Airport, killing 2 and injuring 5 of the 147 people on board. Once again, I'm bringing this up, and I have probably another couple of these articles as examples. Yes, people died. It could have been so much worse. It could have been better, but it could have been worse. So, like, whenever things, get sketchy out there, people, count your blessings, appreciate what you have, don't get pissed about what you don't, And life is what you make it, not what you don't have. 97, Australian cricket batsman Steve Waugh completed twin centuries, 108 and 116, in 268-run third test win versus England at Old Trafford. Cool, 2 centuries, all right. 97 as well, Montreal Expos retired Baseball Hall of Fame outfielder Andre Dawson's uniform number 10. During the Troubles, in response to the Durham Cree disputes, 5 days of mass protests, riots, and gun battles began in Irish nationalist districts of Northern Ireland. 98, England cricket spin bowler Robert Croft saved England from defeat with a famous unbeaten 37 in 190 minutes on day 5 of second test versus South Africa at Old Trafford, Manchester. Okay. 98, Hong Kong's Kai Tak Airport was closed, and the new Hong Kong International Airport at Cheklapkok became operational. Okay. 99, U.S. Army Private Barry Winchell died from baseball bat injuries inflicted in his sleep the previous day by fellow soldiers for his relationship with transgendered showgirl and former Navy combat medic Clapirina Adams. Now, if this actually happened, that's horrible. But with how everything is today, I wouldn't be surprised if this is all made up just to push an agenda. I mean, like, a certain side of the political spectrum is really grasping at every straw, gasping for breath for anything they can do. And with things like our source being leftist, we've seen, how people take things into their own accounts, with the whole Sound of Freedom thing, individual employees and owners of the business not being told by ABC or Disney or any of the, not being told by their overlords, in their own heads, they did everything they could to stop people from seeing that movie. These people, they're evil. And there's nothing stopping our source from adding something that's totally made up. Maybe this did happen. Maybe somebody else made it up in they're in cohorts. I don't know. But this just seems like, I don't know, way too convenient to be used as a weapon in today's climate, you know? So, once again, if it did happen, that sucks, but I'm not sure if it did with how everything is going these days. Anyway, in the year 2000, real estate developer Stan Kroenke announced the acquisition of the Denver Nuggets, Colorado Avalanche, and the Pepsi Center for $450 million from the Ascent Entertainment Group. That's a lot of millions of dollars.
Yeah.
2000 as well, West Ham United Football Club paid a record of £1.8 million for the late Bobby Moore's collection of memorabilia, 79 items including his 1966 World Cup winner's medal. Dude, that's wicked. That's awesome. Like, I should stop saying wicked is a good thing. That's not a good thing. But no, like, 1.8 million for 79 items. It's awesome.
We used that term as a kid, wicked.
Yeah.
As
well,
a good thing.
Yeah, well, I know. But, like, you know, then I think of, like, that play in the movie Wicked about the Wicked Witch, and then how now that's being used as, like, anti-white propaganda, you know? So, 2002, Wimbledon women's tennis, Serena Williams defeated older sister Venus 7-6, 6-3 for her first Wimbledon single title. Now, this one's awesome. 2003, the 70-meter Yevpatoria planetary radar sent a METI message, a cosmic call to 5 stars. HIP 4872, HD 245409, 55 Cantry, also designated as HD 75732, HD 10307, and 47 Ursae Majoris, HD 95128. The messages will arrive to those stars in 2036, 2040, 2044, and 2049, respectively.
Ah.
Now, it sounds cool. At the same time, we're way too loud. What if it gets to, you know, something that is not nice and comes here and wipes us out? We're the ones who rang our own dinner bell here.
Yeah.
You know, we need to shut up as a species, you know, on a galactic scale. 2003, Martina Navratilova claimed her 20th all-time Wimbledon title as she and Leander Paes defeated Andy Ram and Anastasia Ranianova 6-3, 6-3 in the mixes doubles finals. 2005, IOC awarded London the right to host the games. The International Olympic Committee, IOC, awarded London the right to host the games of the 30th Olympiad in 2012 with a vote of 54-50 over Paris on the fourth and final ballot. 2005 as well, this is also no longer on either source. Live Aid concert at Murrayfield Stadium, Edinburgh, Scotland. Performers included Wet Wet Wet, Annie Lennox, James Brown, The Corrs, and The Proclaimers. Never heard of them. 2006, the Nathula Pass between India and China, sealed during the Sino-Indian War, reopened for trade after 44 years. Nice. I love things like that. 2009, Dranka Krustor became the first female prime minister of Croatia. 2010, Incubus singer Brandon Boyd announced the release of his debut solo album, The Wild Trapeze. 2013, 14 people are killed after a train ran over a rickshaw in Sikirpura, Pakistan. That sounds horrifying. A rickshaw.
Yeah.
Vroom, vroom, vroom.
Yeah.
2013 as well, 3 people are killed and 181 are injured after a Boeing 777 crash lands at San Francisco Airport.
I didn't hear about that.
Yeah. And there was... so it says killing 3, injuring 181 of the 307 people on board. So once again, like this is an example. It could be better, it could be worse. You know. So 2013, 42 people are killed. What's going on? We suddenly go into deaths here. 42 people are killed and 5 missing after a freight train carrying crude oil rolled unmanned for 12 kilometers before derailing at Lac Mégantic, Quebec, igniting fires and explosions, destroying more than 30 buildings in the town's central area. Yikes. Other source says killing at least 47 people. We also have 42 people are killed in an attack on a boarding school in Mambundo, Nigeria. What is happening in 2013? Everybody's dying. British and Irish Lions rugby union team thrashed Australia 41-16 in Sydney for a 2-1 series win. Their first against the Wallabies since 1997. Alright, finally we got an article that's not about death. 2015, Floyd Mayweather Jr. was stripped of his WBO welterweight boxing title after failing to pay $200,000 sanctioning fee and vacate his 2 junior middleweight titles. 2016, Black Stadium Alton Steering was shot by Louisiana police in Baton Rouge while being restrained on the ground. The killing was filmed. We also have Black Stadium Filato Castillo was shot by police in St. Paul, Minnesota after being pulled over for a broken rear light. The killing was filmed. Once again, did things actually happen? There's both the exact same thing, the exact same day, same year, but two different, black people, like in two different cities, being pulled over by two different police. Both of them are filmed. Like, it almost sounds like they're setting things up for an agenda. I don't know. 2016, Chilcot report, UK's Iraqi war inquiry was released, concluded Tony Blair overstated case for war and was unprepared. We also have Pokemon Go, the real-world mobile game by Niantic, was first released. They're like, Pokemon Go, what it actually was, Niantic, like, it was partnered with Google, and what it was is like, we have Google Maps and all that stuff,
Yeah.
you can get on the Street View and everything.
Yeah.
Well, what it was is that to cover angles and essentially map out everywhere of some significance around the entire planet, they basically tricked us, the people, into going around because, with the augmented reality thing, we're using the cameras.
Yeah.
It's taking photos of these other angles, to get more in depth, going, looking this way, looking that way, and all that stuff. Yeah, it's for a 3D map of the world. And instead of paying people to go do it, they had us do it in the form of a game, and they had us pay them for in-app purchases. So not only did they get us to do free work, but they got us to spend our money on their ass. It was such a massive, mind manipulation campaign. I would compare Pokemon Go to MK Ultra. It was so gaslighting. 2016, South African athlete Oscar Pistorius was sentenced to 6 years in jail for the murder of his girlfriend, Reva Settencap, in 2013. That's a slap on the wrist. That's horrible. Like, I don't know what's worse. The article earlier about the guy who got shot by his girlfriend and nothing happened from that, because that's unfair. She should, if it was the other way around, he'd have his ass in jail for the rest of his life if he shot her. How come it's okay for her to shoot him? Number one. Number two, because he's an athlete, he can get away with killing somebody? No, that's not cool. Where's the justice? 2017, France announced it will ban petrol and diesel cars by 2040. Yeah, good luck with that. 2017 as well, Illinois State Senate voted to override Governor Bruce Rauner's veto to approve first budget in more than 2 years, longest lasting such dispute of any state. We also have Sri Lankan government confirmed outbreak of dengue fever had killed at least 227. 2018, floods and landslides began in southwestern Japan, killing at least 200 people with more missing. Evacuation orders for nearly 2 million. That's a lot of evacuation. Iranian Instagram star Mayela Hojabari confessed on state TV for posting videos of her dancing. Okay. We also have Paraguay announced it has eliminated malaria. That's pretty cool. Prime Minister Carlos Agostinho de Rosero of Mozambique sacked the board of Lamb Americans after he was left stranded when a plane ran out of fuel. So they couldn't even get him fuel. 2019, Georges Benjavisval, 34-13, said a UFC, something fighting champion,
What?
UFC, United Fighting Championship, is that what UFC stands for? United Fighting Champions. Recorded set a UFC record by needing just 5 seconds to knock out Ben Askren 19-1 and won NC, I guess non-qualification, during their welterweight bout at UFC 239 in Las Vegas, Nevada. Yeah, it's this one up here. So 19, I guess, victories to 1 loss and then 1 non-counted or something. I don't know. 2019 as well, the LA Clippers acquired 2 NBA megastars in one day. Finals MVP Kawhi Leonard from Toronto in free agency, and Paul George from OKC for an unprecedented trade bounty of players and picks. Super Rugby final, Christchurch Canterbury Crusaders won their 10th title with a 19-3 win over Argentina's Jaguars. 2020, the United States of America began officially withdrawing from the World Health Organization. Yeah, this says America. So, what do you mean? Argentina, Peru, Paraguay, Uruguay, Canada, Mexico, the United States, Cuba, Chile, Puerto Rico.
It says United States of America.
No, I said United States of America. The main source calls America.
Oh.
So, America is 2 continents containing 35 countries.
Yeah.
I understand the accepted vernacular, but it's not right. Like if somebody who doesn't understand the accepted vernacular, they just think the entire half of the world is leaving. You know, so I mean the country is not called America of America. So 2020 as well, Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes agreed to the largest contract for an athlete in sports history, inking a 12-year deal that could end up being worth $503 million.
Whoa.
Yeah. And my goodness, apparently, like the referees, like they baby Mahomes. People have had whistles blown on them for like looking at him. It's very wild. Like
That's if you hate Kansas City team. Then you're gonna say that, but that's not true.
no, I've seen videos like I don't know anything from football, but like I've seen people like on the field react like to calls being made on Mahomes that nobody else has called, or not on Mahomes, but involving Mahomes. I don't know how to express it well, but there's a bias. There definitely is. I don't give a shit
You
about
say
football.
the referees are protecting him.
Yes, essentially. So, 2020, zoonotic disease, which jump from animals to humans, are increasing due to unsustainable farming and climate change, according to a new report by the UN. Well, what do you want us to all do? Die? Like this just fear. It's fear mongering. It's just they just want everybody to be afraid of climate change and pay your offsets. It's just all. It's as I wrote in my notes here, more fear mongering, lies, propaganda, and misinformation. That's all it is. It's just bullshit. 2021, Mary Simon was named Canada's first Indigenous Governor General by Prime Minister Justin Castro. We also have 2022, dramatic day in British politics as more than 40 government ministers and aides withdrew their support from Prime Minister Boris Johnson and resigned, a 24-hour record. First ever joint appearance by MI5 head Ken McCallum and the FBI Director Christopher A. Wray, warning China is the biggest long-term threat to our economic and national security. Yes, they are. We also have Rocco Maraboso, Italian's second most wanted and one of the world's most powerful drug brokers, extradited from Brazil to Italy after being on the run for 28 years. Nice, they finally got him. 2022 as well, the Georgia Guidestones, a monument in the United States of America, were heavily damaged in a bombing. They were dismantled later the same day. Like the Georgia Guidestones, like this is something a lot of people don't realize. They literally had on one of these stones, literally written in stone, what the New World Order wanted. They said there shall be no more than 500 million people worldwide population. So we know everybody knows about what Bill Gates is doing, about the Zika virus, about his about what's going on with the alpha-gal syndrome, what Google is going to be doing with all the mosquitoes they're dumping on California and Florida, and everybody knows who's been paying attention. They know the play, but very few of them actually know about the Georgia Guidestones. The news says it was a terrorist attack, but what I find incredibly interesting about more than anything else is how they were dismantled that same exact day. With how our government is always so slow to do everything, but they finished the job, they wanted it out, oh blah blah. They were blown up, it was a terrorist attack. Okay, under the rug, and we're moving on. They literally had it in stone what they want. They want us all to die. And they destroyed it before we started figuring it out. That's what the Georgia guys, now they're all gone. They were around forever. They weren't around from 1980. No, the Guidestones were around since the frickin' 1700s. They were around. Wow. They're straight up lying here. Wow. Well, I'm going to add this in the underbar section. Georgia Guidestones. No, the Guidestones were around for hundreds of years. Oh, whoops. Didn't mean to do that. Moving on up to 2023, Louis Armstrong House Museum opened. Let's see here. Opens new archive facility, the Louis Armstrong Center in Queens, New York City. Let's do an image search of this really quick. Oh, okay. Kind of looks like a guitar or a hat box or something.
Yeah, a little bit like that, huh? Something.
Yeah. Because Louis Armstrong, he was like the jazz guy, right?
Yeah, but he played a horn.
Yeah. I'm trying to.
Guitar.
Well, I know. I'm wondering, like, it's supposed to be like, you know, like the wave of sound. Like,
I
it
don't
looks
know.
music-y. I don't know how
Yeah,
to.
yeah,
It looks
okay.
music-y. You know. What else we got? In 2024, black woman Sonia Massey was shot and killed in her home in Springfield, Illinois, by Sheriff Deputy Sean Grayson, who is later charged with first-degree murder. You see, like, you know, that's so. The way that's written seems like somebody just is making it up just to be like, oh yeah, you know, we have an example of white supremacy. Look at this. It's like, did this really happen? Like, you know. And last but not least, Suriname Parliament elected Jennifer Geerling Simons in 2025 as the country's first female president. All right. And that shall conclude the show. Once again, please check the underbar description below for any links that you may find interesting. A lot of history has and continues to be made on a daily basis, and we can only bring you a portion from, you know, our two sources. We have gone through all 37 pages of our document today in an hour and 20 minutes. You know, that's more than that's actually longer than yesterday. Oh, that's unfortunate. Anyway, what's the code word today? Let us know that they're still watching.
Daylight.
Daylight. Okay, yeah, put daylight in the comment section. Let us know you're still watching. Anyway, for your dose of Past Events Daily, we stream at 5 p.m. Pacific Time, 6 Mountain, 7 Central, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, respectively. For all of you and all of us, I'm Leo Xander.
Golden Moon.
And UVRU, thank you so much for coming in. And until you catch us next time, whenever it is, wherever it is, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection.